This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning everyone. Bruchim Habayim. We continue in Mishna Berura Daf Hashavua. We're learning the end of Siman Yud Gimel. We're up to Mishna Berura Siv Katan Tezvav. Let's review what the Mechaber and the Rama said. The Mechaber said that if you realized on Shabbos, when you're in a Rishus D'Rabbanan, a Carmelis, that your talis is puzzle, do not take it off you until you get home. You don't have to take it off because of Kavod Abrios. Kavod Abrios is Doicha D'Rabbanan. The Rama said, even the talis katan that's under your garments, you don't have to remove. Even though once it's off, nobody's going to see you uncovered. Still, the removal is a lack of kavod abrius. You don't have to take it off. The Rama even said the same din would apply if one of the strings of the tzitzis snapped and you're embarrassed to sit that way without a talis. You're allowed to put it on l'chadchila, als kavod habrios, which is an amazing chidush. You could actively put on the talis because of kavod habrios. Again, you're not actively doing an avera. You're actively putting yourself in a situation where you're passively not fulfilling an asay. And then the Rama said, "V'davka b'Shabbos ta'asur lasos tzitzis." This is only Shabbos where you can't make tzitzis. Ava b'chol kahagavna asur. But in the week, under these circumstances, it's prohibited. So we have to see the Mishna Berura Sivkatan Tezvav. V'davka b'Shabbos. Peirosh. Lafisha b'Shabbos less a rakis d'Rabbanan kanal, because on Shabbos you're only dealing with an Isser d'Rabbanan. Because since you're not commanded to put on tzitzis, because you can't tie it, so the bittul asay is you're commanded to put on the tzitzis, but you can't put them on. So on Shabbos it becomes an Isser d'Rabbanan. The Dirsha brings down a fabulous question of the Pri Megadim. Pri Megadim wants to know, why can't you tie the tzitzis on Shabbos? Oh, you can't make a knot. So tie it, almanas, to untie it, Matzah Shabbos. That's only Isser D'Rabbanan. But Makkoi Mitzvah Loi Gazru. As the Pri Megadim, why can't you tie tzitzis on Shabbos? Tie them and have in mind that you're going to untie them after. So the Pri Megadim says any knot that it's a derech to leave that way sometimes, you're not a tie midairaisa. The Bir Halacha says that a kesher, that it's a derech to make it bikfius, we don't follow the das of the tire, and it would be asa midairaisa. Okay, interesting question. The Mishna Berura continues, Aval b'chol shu over al Isser Torah, but during the week where you're violating a daraisa, b'chol shah, dekum v'asei boi tzitzis, the Isser Torah of get up and make tzitzis, the Isser Torah, afil rak Isser d'shav al tasa kazeh, a biblical Isser, even if it's passive, where you're just refraining from not doing the mitzvah, shu mainei asat mitzvah, that will not be pushed off from kavod abrios. Imloi b'gnai gadol, unless, as we saw yesterday, if it's a gnai gadol, then a yisur d'oraisa b'shav al tasa will be pushed off. Therefore, v'lachin aser lilboi shatal's gadol kisharoy she'en boi tzitzis. It is prohibited to wear a talis gadol when you see that there are no tzitzis on it. The leishe b'li talis, to sit around without a talis, svir leil ramah du rak b'chlal gnai katan. That's only considered a gnai katan. By the way, we saw yesterday that in the talis katan, to take off a talis katan is a gnai gadol. That would be permitted to keep it on even during the week if you're barabim. V'cheinim noida loy b'rshus harabim. Kshu haylech b'talis gadol shenifsek le'achas mitzias. Let's say you're going in the rshus harabim with the talis gadol, that one of the strings snapped. Tzarach gam kein lepashle tekef. You have to remove it immediately. Dizmanenu, because in our times, pshita sat talis gadol b'shuku gam kein rak gnai katan. Taking off the talis gadol in the marketplace is a small gnai. Amnam in beveis hakneses noidoloi. But if in the shul, after you're already wearing the talis, you realize that one of your tzitzis are pasul. Harbe min achreinim mekilin. Many achreinim are mekel. De'ein sarch lepashta teikaf. That you don't have to take it off right away. Why? But this is an Isser Dairaisa. And if it's Isser Dairaisa, Kavod Abrius doesn't push off an Isser Dairaisa. The Svirlu, the Kivin Shul Barabim, they hold since it's public, Bebeis HaKnesses, Hapshita hu Genai B'yoiser. The removal is very embarrassing. Rak Yemahir Leilech Labeisa, you should hasten to your house, or Labayis, Shal Nebez Nezer Shetenu Sham. So, in other words, even though they hold, since it's very embarrassing, you don't have to take it off immediately, but you should not wear it the whole davening, but step outside as quickly as you can and go somewhere you can take it off as soon as possible. V'chayadam machmir b'zeh. Chayadam is machmir. The Chayadim holds the hapshitas talis gadol hu rak genai katan. Taking off a talis katan, talis gadol is a small genai. Everyone's taking off the talis all the time. The guy who goes down for the kiddush, he's makbid to wear the talis. He also takes off the. When I say kiddush, I mean for inyane kedusha, not for an actual kiddush, but he's taking it off. Afterwards, I found that the Pri Megadim in Hilchos Tzitzis also holds like the Chai Adam. Al Kain, therefore, the right thing to do is to do what the Artzas HaChaim writes, Sheyafkirenu, be mafkir your talis. You hear this? Be mafkir your talis. Why? The us pater milasis by tzitzis. A hefker talis, you're pater for making tzitzis, you're putting tzitzis. And then when you get home, be zoichen in again. Now, where did this eitzah come from? All of a sudden, like in the bottom of the ninth inning, we have, by the way, if you're stuck in a situation where your tzitzis are pasul and you it's embarrassing to wear it because it's genai gadol, so then just be mafker it. So simply you could say, until now we're dealing with genai katan. So genai katan maybe don't do this eitzah, but here this is the first time where there's a shaila, maybe taking off a talis gadol publicly is a genai gadol. The Pri Megadim says though, that there are quotes, that we don't always say every time there's an issue of kavod abriyos, be mafker it, because Chazal were not mechayiv you to be mafker your garment, because then somebody could come along and take it. Very interesting. I mean, is this an eitzah every single time you have a shaila? Saying what? Every time you have an issue of kavod abriyos by tzitzis, why don't we just say be mafker it? So it seems like the Pri Megadim is saying, well, we don't want to take the chance. It's only over here where we have this machloikes, and there might be itzadis. It's genai gadol. Okay, so that's going to be today's Mishna Berura. Now we're going to do tomorrow's. If you want to stick around, then we'll do tomorrow's.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.